Do you love vintage knitting and ones with lots of details? This is one of them. I'm going to show you some close-up details of it, and I will pop the pattern details at the end of the video. This is such a nice jumper, knitted from a vintage pattern, and yeah, I'm going to show you some of the details of this. So it's got a collar and cuffs and a placket. It's just like a little shirt. It's so cute. This is a vintage Vogue pattern, and I knitted it in a yarn that's a bit thin, thick. I believe I got the yarn from Ice Yarns ages ago, years ago, because it's a while since I've knitted this one. But it does give quite a nice effect when it's knitted up. It's very light, and it's all done in reverse stocking stitch. So you can see the exterior of the jumper is looks like garter stitch, but on the inside it's stocking stitch. So that's what's called reverse stocking stitch or stockinette stitch, depending where you're from in the world. It's got lovely little buttonholes that I've stitched up after, so I had to do buttonholes on the jumper itself and then on the facing. So it's got, if ever you've done any sewing and you've made a facing for a blouse or a shirt or a dress or something, this was done in the same way. So it's been knit across. Then I can see here there was an area where you fold it over, so that's the reverse stocking stitch, and then this is stocking stitch, and it gives a nice smooth edge there. So there was 2 buttonholes on this piece and this piece, and then stitched together here to give a nice neat finish. And then the collar is in regular stocking stitch to give it a smooth contrast and stitched in place. A button placket which finishes here, so that facing comes down to here. The hem is a folded over hem. So the hem was again reverse stocking stitch, but when I started knitting it would have been stocking stitch and then change, and that gives a nice neat fold, and that's been catch stitched in place. I want to show you the cuffs because these are so cute. So yeah, reverse stocking stitch sleeves, and then the cuff is stitched on separately, so that was knit separately, again in stocking stitch. And I'll just undo this little button for you here. Again, there's 2 layers to this, so those buttons, I've done a little bit of buttonhole stitch around there to keep that nice and neat. And for the buttons, I made like a little cufflinks for myself. So I've used 2 shank buttons and stitched them together, and then probably done buttonhole stitch. It's a long time since I did this. Buttonhole stitch through there just to give it some strength. And that's how the cuffs are fastened together. But it gives a nice little finish, doesn't it? You don't find much hand knitting like that. And then on there's the cuff, but there's the opening here, and that's been stitched in as well. So there's a bit extra to fold over and stitch in. So it gives a really neat finish. This is the pattern that I used for this sweater. That's the image that enticed me to knit it. She looks quite cool, doesn't she? But this pattern is within the Vogue knitting book from 1960. So if you happen to find this book anywhere, then you could knit this too. If you've enjoyed this video, a thumbs up is always very much appreciated. Please check out my playlist for lots more inspiration on vintage knitting. And if you subscribe, you can follow along in the future as well. Thank you.